Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out the official overview trailer of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I recently put out a video that was over an hour long that was just going over a whole bunch of stuff about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And it was a really good time, and I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the Xenoblade community because that video is one of my most viewed videos on my channel, and it had a ton of comments, all of which were extremely positive. And I just wanted to thank the Xenoblade community for being as really awesome as you are, because when you do this, especially what I'm doing, where I'm checking out a lot of different games in a lot of different genres, I've ran into some really toxic people that are like, I can't believe that he reacted to the video when he's not played every single thing and read the books. What a scrub. And I'm like, but that's the point of the trailer, is to see if we like it. Anyway, I liked what I saw, but there were so many questions that were posed during that Nintendo Direct that was focused solely on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I hadn't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at that point. I am playing it now. I'm only like 25% of the way through it. The game's really long. I'm not going to finish it before Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out. That said, I already ordered Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because the games are related, but they're not direct sequels of one another. Like, playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so far there is almost nothing that I've ran into that has next to anything to do with Xenoblade Chronicles 1, outside of some overarching world stuff and like the races that are there. But there's new races in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so regardless of all of that, let's see what this official overview trailer has for us, because having now played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I know what I want out of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, specifically looking at the gameplay. But we'll see what they talk about, and we can get more into that after the trailer.
What is it they need to stay alive? Water? Food? Certainly. But what we need most is life itself.
What do you all think you're doing?
I'd
Why
love
the
more
fighting?
pixels.
What do you think it's like for us? Losing friend after friend.
The face of your real enemy is...
Ouroboros abhor this world.
Their existence must be erased without a trace.
What kind of racing is it in Xenoblade? Damn it, Eve. God damn it.
This is the world of Ionios. The nations of KOS and Agnes and their grisly conflict stand in contrast to its natural splendor. The people of this world live short lifespans of just 10 years. From the moment they're born, fighting is all the people of Ionios learn. The story of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 focuses on 6 soldiers, 3 from KOS and 3 from Agnes.
With their
When they
powers
come face to
combined.
face during a special mission, both parties draw their weapons, but after encountering a mysterious figure, they resolve to work together.
Because now, kids, you share a common destiny. They'll hunt you constantly, relentlessly, without rest. There's one place that might give you a chance. Sword March. Our city.
Surviving in Ionios.
Ionios is host to various landscapes, all filled with surreal geography to explore.
Monolith
and
Soft
diverse
is
wildlife to
unmatched
encounter.
when it comes to making beautiful landscapes
Draw
that are
your weapon when
available on the
encountering an
Switch.
enemy to seamlessly enter battle. Make your approach to attack automatically. Then harness powerful abilities called arts to strive for victory. Arts have a variety of effects. Some can throw opponents off balance, inflict more damage based on where you attack from.
Hold on.
Inflict more damage. Some can throw opponents off balance. Inflict more damage based
come
on
back.
where you attack from. Or heal allies, to name a few. String together arts to activate a combo and gain an advantage. Get the enemy off balance, knock them to the ground, launch them into the air, then smash them down. Stringing together successful combos is quite
Launch is still
satisfying.
hilarious to me. Will never not be funny looking.
What is that thing?
You've got a real death wish. It's not over yet!
I felt her thoughts. There were so many, and then they were a part of me.
By joining together in battle through interlinking, two characters in your party can fuse into a fiercely
They still look
powerful
like
form
Evangelions to
known
me.
as an Ouroboros. While interlinking, unleash mighty Ouroboros arts without limits. Use soul points earned in battle to make the Ouroboros even stronger.
I'm not going to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I won't finish XE2, unfortunately. I want
Each character
to.
in your party has a class that influences how they battle. Each character takes on a specific role during battles. Attackers excel at damaging enemies. Defenders block enemy attacks and draw their aggro. And healers can restore health points to keep you in fighting shape.
And yes, Cerulean, he does remind me of
Each
a
character playing in their
particular
role
character in
effectively is a key
XE2.
point
I don't
to
think he's
battling.
him, though.
Your class
could
can also
be.
be changed to match that of your allies. And that's not all.
He'd have to be like a younger one.
Doing the same as everyone around you, it's always the same outcome. It's just that, as a mechanic, you can't start getting moody just because something's broken.
Brave residents of Ionis called heroes can lend their arms and aptitude to your team as a 7th party member. Only one hero at a time can assist on the battlefield, but you can swap them out.
Do they got somebody blurred out right here? We don't want you to know who this is. They've blurred out a character in the trailer. They're like, this is clearly going to be somebody that we know in some way. This hero is probably either from XE1 or XE2, or it's going to be like a reference from an outside game, like kind of like how KOS-MOS and was a Blade in XE2. So there's very definitely a reference here that they're keeping hidden, and I appreciate it, but it's hilarious.
Out as you see fit. Heroes also have their own unique classes. By befriending these allies, your party members can take on these classes too. Recruit more heroes for
Did you blur him out here? Oh my god. Oh no, this is not. No, I don't. Nah, dang.
a growing combination of classes and arts for your party.
Spoilers? Yeah, no kidding.
Ionios is host to a variety
He
of
does look
terrains and
similar, and you're right,
climates.
Fee. They got a lot of
Once you
characters that are
start to
similar
explore,
to
you'll
previous
encounter
ones.
creatures
They
that
could be
make no
related in
secret of their
some way.
ferocious tendencies.
We do know
well
for a
as
fact
hidden
that an
areas to
XE1
discover and
character
more.
is in this.
Harsh yet beautiful landscapes await you. Colonies serve as the base camp for both nations.
Like, we know with absolute certainty that there is one Xenoblade Chronicles 1 character that is in this game.
At rest spots found in colonies and throughout the world, you can cook using collected materials. Craft gems to strengthen your abilities.
Looks good to me. I think we'll find this
And
useful.
discuss information you've heard from residents to take on new quests.
Faye, is that a Xenogears character real?
Explore every corner of these fields
Because
as you
it
seek out new
could be a
encounters.
Xenogears character.
Breathtaking scenery,
The main character is Xenogears? Okay.
valuable items, and ferocious monsters. Enjoy the world and fulfill your wanderlust at your own pace.
Still is going to be the most impressive game on the Switch in terms of scale and scope.
We were sworn enemies once, and yet we all share the will to live in the now.
Not now we seem to be sharing a common destiny, we happy few.
These soldiers will nourish me, and we can always grow plenty more.
You guys really make my sparks fly.
Get back to killing each other! Come on! I thought that was your whole raison d'etre!
These are our lives here! They're not some toys you can just play with!
Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay. Hold on, there's more here.
Broaden the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 with a paid expansion pass. Additional content will be released over time.
So one thing I'll comment real quick is about the expansion pass. The expansion pass is actually something that I'm looking forward to, because if it's anywhere close to what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had as an expansion pass, they released the expansion pass for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as its own independent release because of how much was in it. This is Torna the Golden Country. It's a 500-year prequel to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it was part of the expansion pass for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it's like 40 hours long, is that brand new story scenario that you see here at the bottom. And the sheer amount of stuff that they give you in all of those other points that they're talking about, the number of like extra quest, bonus characters, side quests for characters, it's really immense how much stuff they're giving you in that expansion pass. I don't know if this is going to be the same scale and scope, but just looking at this, it looks like it's going to be in terms of what we're seeing here. New hero characters, new quests, new challenge battles, and a brand new story scenario. I'm looking forward to this more than I've ever looking forward to a DLC in a game, especially for one that's been pre-announced, because I'm normally heavily against that. But with just how immense this is, if this is close to what this is, or on par or greater than, this is worth well over $30, because this is incredible, seriously. But anyway, that aside, see if there's anything else in here.
Amiibo!
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is compatible with Amiibo figures. Tap any Amiibo to acquire helpful in-game items for your adventure. Tap the Shulk Amiibo to change a character's sword to appear as the Monado when using Noah's Swordfighter class.
Okay, we'll pause that right there for a second. So, yeah, I normally I'd be like, oh, you sons of bitches, you're announcing the season pass before the game is even out. It seems to be very, very different with Xenoblade. I wouldn't be surprised if someone says Xenogears makes a more modernized debut. The only reason that I might question if a Xenogears character could show up is because of rights and ownership issues. That game's really old. I don't know where the rights to Xenogears sits right now. If I remember correctly, it should take place after Xenogears. They never abandoned that timeline. Licenses be damned. Well, the way the Xeno timeline works is that they're all technically very loosely interconnected. They're like the same universe, although they don't take place necessarily like after one another or even on the same planet. It is the same, like I said, universe, which is why like KOS-MOS showed up in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And it was not just a call out and a reference. It was like another small little piece that tied everything together. Helpful items, that one sticks out to me though, but that's basic in JRPGs. Right, it's not very different than what you see in a lot of Tales games. The stuff that they give you in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the DLC, it's like some extra potions and some extra like little this and that. It's nothing that's like genuinely game breaking. They give you a little bit of extra money, but not enough money that you no longer have to worry about money. Because I've definitely seen JRPGs do that. Like Tales of Arise did that. They gave us almost enough money that you just didn't need to care about money for the rest of the game. I did not have that experience with how far I've gotten, at least currently in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And one of the other cool things, at least with my playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now, is that I activated all the DLC, got like some items, and you get like a couple of extra blades and stuff like that. And the blades are fully developed characters with personalities, and they have their own quests and stuff like that, which is cool. But it also added extra quests at multiple points throughout the world. And I've already gotten some of those, even though I'm only in my first like 25 hours of the game. So, played about 15 minutes of Torna. I haven't played it at all yet. I know how big it is, and I'm like, damn it, I'm not going to get to that either. Oh my god. Incoming price spike and Shulk Amiibo, you don't look at it. It's probably already there. So, Here you go, 5,000 stat increase to no, thankfully not. Thankfully, I don't think that'll be the case. Okay, we do have another video here for Xenoblade Chronicles we're going to check out. It's an IGN video, which I'm always nervous about because sometimes IGN videos are crap, especially when they're like hands-on previews and stuff. I checked this one out before we started. It's the final preview, and it's fairly short, and the quality is decent, so we'll check this out too.
Fighting in order to live.
Because they've actually gotten to play it.
And living to fight. That's the way of our world. Ionios.
If you're planning on spending over 100 hours in the next chapter of Monolith Soft's epic JRPG Xenoblade Chronicles 3, then you might understandably have your fingers crossed that the combat system sitting at the core of that adventure can go the distance.
This is what
Having spent the past couple of weeks submerged in that incredibly complex battle system, I can confidently say that so far it has not disappointed.
Okay.
Using all the best parts of combat from previous games, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 adds layer upon layer of customizability, class options, and crazy transformation mechanics that turns two characters into a purple demon creature that rides a wicked surfboard. Although the stories, characters, and wonderfully bizarre worlds have always been the main attraction in Xenoblade, these awesome combat overhauls are a welcome change in a journey that demands so much time.
What's wrong? What is it?
Are you going to talk more about combat?
No, how could I have?
No Xenoblade game is complete without the tactical combat system that had me controlling a squad of characters swinging weapons bigger than their bodies. Like previous entries, I needed to master various combat arts, perform deadly and satisfying chain attacks, and trigger super abilities that let me smack around bad guys with extreme prejudice. But while it retains most of the tried and true formula that defined it, it also adds a ton of new stuff to get excited about, especially a new system that allows characters to take on one another's character classes and master their skill sets. Once mastered, I could choose to retain certain skills from that class while switching to another one, allowing me to take the best parts from each class and create a custom cocktail of my favorite abilities rolled up into one build. Plus, I could make them wear the clothes of any class I'd mastered so far, which is a great touch. There's also a new feature called the Interlink system, which allows two characters to utilize their unique bond to enter their Ouroboros form, a merging of the two characters into a giant purple creature for a short period of time that's completely unstoppable. Learning the perfect time to trigger this form became vital to my success, not only because I could deal a lot of damage, but also because it doubled as an opportunity to save the two characters in question from their imminent death.
Well, you shall catch on quick.
Also, one of these Ouroboros monsters literally attacks with his hair, so what's not to love? That's not all
Bayonetta?
Xenoblade 3's combat system evolves either. Now there's an expanded party of 6 playable characters that can be directly controlled at will, a 7th heroic party member who helps out in the fight, and much more. There's so much happening on screen at any given time that it took me several hours just to get my feet under me. In fact, if there's any cause for concern, it's not that combat might become dull after dozens of hours, but that it's so complicated you might drown in it. I'll admit that at certain times, I entirely forgot about a mechanic or two before being reminded of it at a later time, much to my dismay. There's just so much to keep track of. Luckily, a game this enormous gives you ample time to learn and juggle everything it throws at you, though it certainly may take some time. Having had quite a bit of time to immerse myself in this incredibly complex sandbox of customizable classes, crazy attack combos, and over-the-top monster transformations, I've still not found myself at all bored by, or at even times comfortable with, all it has to offer. And that's great news for those like myself who like a nuanced battle system that's perfect for getting lost in for hours on end. For more, check out our previews of Steel Rising and A Plague Tale Requiem, and keep an eye out soon for our full review of Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Okay, so their video did help a little bit because there's having played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition and going into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there were pros and cons to the combat system. The biggest of which, in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, one thing that is the same across both games is that there is no attack button. You don't mash a button to attack. You don't have to choose an option to have your characters auto attack. They just do it, which is fine. That's great. However, in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, your character auto attacked as long as they were close enough. You could be running around the enemy and your character would auto attack while they're running, which was great because there is positional importance that exists within Xenoblade Chronicles combat. There are attacks that want you to be behind the enemy, there are attacks that want you to be beside the enemy, and so you could still be attacking while repositioning to be able to use that ability to get extra damage or its effect or whatever you wanted out of it. Going into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, your character doesn't auto attack while moving, but the positional effects still exist. So you still have moves that are like, I really want you to be behind the enemy, and then you'll have another ability that says, I want you to be on the side of the enemy. You're like, okay, but I'm not attacking when I'm moving, which is fine on a concept, but there was an additional layer to the combat system in XE2 that had a problem, which is the idea of attack canceling. You could cancel an auto attack right as it was about to hit to go into one of your special moves called arts, and it would give you a bonus effect. Every single weapon had a 3-hit auto attack chain. 1, 2, 3. I'm just doing / stab as an example. Everything was different. And the game straight up tells you, you get the strongest effect on the attack cancel if you cancel it on the 3rd hit. Problem with that was that if you had to reposition, your character would always restart their auto attack combo. So you would go 1, move, 1, 2, I gotta move, 1, damn, the enemy went after the tank, I gotta follow them, walk over there, 1, you almost never get to 3. And it was really annoying going from XE1 to XE2 because of that reason, to the point that the idea of trying to cancel on the 3rd hit, you just don't do it because you're like, it's not going to happen. It's more efficient and effective for me just to cancel whenever it is convenient for me to do so. Now, it doesn't necessarily look like you can attack while moving in this game, but there are a couple of things that I did see when we are going through this. So let me see if I can find it. So one, while you're moving around, one of the things that I noticed is that the characters, and it could just be an animation thing, but the characters will have different animation attacks even after they've moved. Like where, let me see if I can't find the spot that it was. So like right here, he attacks with a side slash, and then he slashes to the right, then he takes a couple steps, and he's got a new attack pattern, right? Left, right, left, right. They could still just be 1, 2, 3s, but it's not visually the same. Whereas in XE2, the first hit was always the same animation. Also looks really weird because one of the most effective things to do in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is to actually step cancel your own auto attack. Not cancel it into an art unless you wanted to do that, but you can actually get attacks out faster by causing your character to move to reset your auto attack combos, so you can get more attacks out faster to build up meter to be able to use arts. It doesn't look like that's necessarily the case of what's happening here. The other thing that I noticed, and let me see if I can find it, we need to see if, unfortunately this video is 8 minutes long, so it's not very easy for me to just grab the spot. And I tried to look at a particular section. I don't remember the girl's name with the hammer. I think her name was May. Where are you? Where is that section where May is the one fighting? Bummer. I don't want to waste too much of your time with it. Oh, wait. Mio. No, her name's not May. Mio, Tyon, Lanz, and Senna. So Senna was the one that was fighting. Let's see if they show it right here. I was hoping so. Because at one point, Senna does a dodge action. I paused it earlier. Here it is. So, oh, come on, go back. See, she dodges to the left. And I looked at the UI when they did this because I wanted to see if it was an ability that they were using or if it was a mechanic. Because if you can't auto attack while moving anymore, but they give you effectively like a dodge that allows you to reposition without resetting your auto attack combo, that, while not perfect because you would have to dodge correctly into the right area, and like in the instance of this weird giant sharkfish thing, this spocked Aligo, you might not be able to get all the way behind it because it's a big enemy, but it does give you a utility tool to possibly do those things. to have that option to reposition a little bit from the front to the side. And maybe that's what it is. You don't actually dodge. It's a sidestep that puts you to a new position. If it just automatically tries to move your character from the side to the back to the side to the front to the side, from the side to the front to the side, however that works, great. Because in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's like, this ability is cool, but I have one ability that wants me to be in the back and one ability that wants me to be on this side. Pick one. Because largely you're not going to be able to use both, because you're going to need to get in position, and then you want to hopefully glue your feet to the ground so that you can do either auto attack cancels or auto attack combos to cancel into arts to actually get efficient use of your damage and abilities and stuff like that. So if this sidestep will help with that, sweet, awesome. And that's the only thing really in the combat that I saw. Everything else actually looks more heavily inspired by Xenoblade Chronicles 2 than it is Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Mostly just looking at the UI and everything like that, the way that they talked about, like, chain links were in both games, but these button abilities and stuff down at the bottom are much more reminiscent of XC2 than they are XC1, which is good. I feel that outside of what I just got done rambling about with auto attack stuff, Xenoblade Chronicles 2's ability system, while more limited, is actually easier to use because you're restricted on what options you take into battle, and that makes you, one, have to make those decisions before you get into battle, and two, means you're not scrambling through menus in what is otherwise an active battle system, which was very clunky sometimes in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, where you're trying to swap and clunk through different abilities trying to get to the one you want. Oh crap, it's on the left side and not the right side. And it's much cleaner to do what you want in XC2 than it is XC1, and it looks like they're going to take that even further in XC3, which is great. The only other question that I have, I'm still curious of how the combat system works exactly, because I'm just genuinely curious about that, is with this character right here. I'm still very, very curious about Senna, and I'll tell you why. One of the things that we talked about in the last video for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was the races that are present. So you have humans, you have Nopon, you have Gormati, which so we got Noah, who's a human, we got Mia, who's a Gormati, I can't remember your race again, winged head people. Tella? I want to say it's Tella, but man, do I not remember. Is there fishing in it? Sort of. I don't know about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Tyon kind of just looks like a human. Lons, he kind of looks like the races from Uriah, if you've played XC2. But Senna's the one that I'm curious of, because we noticed her in the first trailer for the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, this character looks cool. They got blue hair and their hair's on fire. I don't recognize that type of character before. There's a character in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 named Brigid, whose hair functions exactly like Senna's does. But here's the caveat, right? Brigid is a blade. They are a crystallized entity that is summoned and creates themselves in the image that they want, but are otherwise just a summoned entity. They don't act like, some of the blades are literally giant robot puffball rabbits, man. Like, they're just, some of them are dogs. The blades are completely their own thing entirely. You could say a blade is a race, and they're a very, very diverse race, but that's not the way that it's presented. Blades are blades. And so, but there is a character in XC2, Brigid, whose hair is exactly like Senna's. I have not gotten to a point where they talk about if blades can procreate or anything like that, and who knows? Like, really, it could be something completely different going into XC3, right? But it made me go, I don't know what you are. Why is your hair on fire? Because, like, the blades, they come in every shape, size, ability. Some of them have, like, lightning paws. Some of them are on fire. Like I said, there's literally one that's it's Baymax if he was a rabbit, okay? If he was a gray rabbit, Baymax, all right? And they're so varied. But now we have somebody who largely is, for the most part, a, like, normal presenting character. She does have ether lines, though, the same way the blades do. I just noticed that. These lines are present on all the blades, and it's what their energy flows through. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just something that I pointed out. But regardless of all of that, I'm looking forward to this. I will not finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2 before this comes out. I know I won't. I wish I could. But one nice thing is, if I just want to pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I don't believe it will hurt my experience to have not played through Xenoblade Chronicles 2, not finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or started Torn of the Golden Country. So, but with all that said, that was Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the official overview trailer, and the final look from IGN. The game comes out on July 29th. It comes out very soon, in literally just a few days. So where are you sitting on Xenoblade Chronicles 3? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. And speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can check out together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.